Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about something I know quite a lot about, and that is box sets. So I am a massive box set fan. So ever since I'd say the days of like Prison Break, that's when I became really into box sets. I lost quite a few days of my life sat watching Prison Break. You know, when you start watching them as couples, it's so annoying because then you can't watch an episode until your partner is with you. So I tend to like watching them on my own. I do watch some with Chris, but a lot of the time I have my iPad on, so I always have it on while I'm getting ready. I have it on while I'm having a bath. I have it on while I'm cooking. I've always got my iPad on. So a lot of these box sets that I've watched were pre-babies. Obviously now I've got the boys, I watch it in my spare time. So I watch it while I'm in bed. I tend to go to bed about 9:30, 10, and then I'll watch box sets till about 11. And then I watch it, like I say, when I'm getting ready, while they're napping and I'm cooking. So yeah, I don't really do silence. I either have to have music, podcasts, or a box set on. I don't always have to concentrate on them 100%. Like I could be tidying up and have the box set on and I still know what's going on. So yeah, I found it so hard to whittle this down. I could probably give you 50 different box sets that I've enjoyed, but I've tried to whittle it down a bit so this video isn't like 5 hours long. What I'll probably do is pop up, because of copyright and stuff, I can't show you like the actual box set, so I'll probably pop up like an image or I'll put along the bottom of the screen where you can watch it. So let's start off with what I'm watching at the moment, Many Heist. So Many Heist is on Netflix, and if you've never seen it, do you know what? It is so worth giving it a watch, because initially I completely discounted it because it's dubbed. So it's actually Spanish, so they've dubbed English over the top of it, and I started to watch it. I don't do subtitles. It gets on my nerves watching anything with subtitles, and I kind of had the same attitude and I wrote it off, and then I went back to it and I love it. So Many Heist is about a professor who sets up a bank heist, and he collates this team of like different criminals, but you start to really like the criminals, and then it goes on to a season 2, and that is a different type of heist, and it's just really clever, quite fast paced and quite dramatic. So if you like that sort of thing, check out Many Heist. I've written a list because I'll never remember them all. Sex Education is also one that I've watched quite recently. I think this is Netflix as well. The lady Gillian is well, that's her real name. She's actually a sex therapist, and her kind of awkward, slightly geeky son Otis gives out like sex advice at school, and it's just a really funny, light-hearted kind of like comedy drama. So if you've not watched Sex Education, it's very popular, so you might want to check that out. And then another one that absolutely had me hooked is The Fall. So The Fall is Jamie Dornan, you know, the one from 50 Shades of Grey. So he's a Belfast serial killer, and it's all about the chase between him and the detective, and it's all about him killing these girls, and it just becomes like a really interesting psychological thriller. I loved it, and he's quite easy on the eye as well, isn't he? So yeah, definitely give that one a watch. That's on Amazon Prime. Gangs of London is kind of like the in one at the moment. This is on Sky Atlantic. Obviously the title kind of tells you what it's about, gangs in London, but it's quite a violent one, so if you're not into violence, that's probably not going to be for you. But again, it's gripping, it's dramatic, and it's going to have you on the edge of your seat, so check that out. Orange is the New Black. Who doesn't love Orange is the New Black? Another Netflix winner, won so many awards. I cried when it finished. I don't know if you've watched the final episode, and they do all the credits at the end, and all the characters stop being characters and they're all thanking each other and taking a bow, and I cried. Piper is the main character. It's hilarious, but it's also quite dark as well, so definitely watch Orange is the New Black. The Sinner, so that's Jessica Biel. I think that was Netflix as well. That's about like a random act of rage. So you're sitting watching it, and it's like this lovely scene, and all of a sudden this horrific violent act happens, and you're like, what the hell just happened? And it's all about how the detectives get into her head and work out what happened. So that's a good one. The Stranger, so this is Netflix. This was quite a recent one. It's kind of a like who, what, why, what the hell's going on one. So if you like to like work out things like when it comes to do with like murder and things like that, you'll really like it. It's about secrets. So this lady's going around exposing people's secrets, but there's quite a lot of a backstory to it as well, so I definitely recommend that. Suits, so Suits is quite old school, but I love Suits. So this is Harvey and Mike Ross, and this is all about, well, Meghan Markle was in this as well. So this is all about like lawyers. It's quite political in places, but he's basically this really clever guy, Mike, and he pretends to be a lawyer, and he fools loads of people and gets into this amazing like firm, and he's not actually a lawyer. So that's really good. Definitely check out Suits. Power. So Power is amazing. Power is about two main characters who are Ghost and Tommy. Tommy's kind of like more your stereotypical like gangster criminal, and Ghost is more like a suave, sophisticated version. He's extremely handsome as well, but he's like a nightclub owner, and he's got this like lovely, beautiful family. But behind the facade is this really clever gangster, and it's just fantastic. That is so good. So yeah, if you haven't watched Power, make sure you check that out. And Peaky Blinders. So there's a bit of a theme here. You can see that a lot of what I watch is quite based on like criminal activity or violence, or you know, I like things to grip me. I don't mind things that are just like Virgin River, just really sweet, Gossip Girl, you know, I don't mind those sort of things, but then I'm going to wow people, so I've kind of not really spoken about them. I'm trying to speak more about the ones that will stick in your head and that you'll be talking about for a long time. So Peaky Blinders, so Thomas Shelby, you know, set in the kind of like 1920s, I think, you know, West Midlands based, so he's also very handsome, isn't he? So yeah, I think that makes these programmes a little bit easier to watch. It's the eyes, but yeah, that's a fantastic series. I love Peaky Blinders. Excuse me. I just love that whole like family loyalty thing as well. So yeah, check that out if you haven't. And the one that I'm watching with Chris in the evenings is Ozark. So I don't know if you've seen Ozark, but that's all about Marty Bird and Wendy Bird. He's like a financial advisor type person, and he gets involved with like the underworld of like the Mexican cartel, local kind of like hillbilly more like drug dealers, and he moves out to the Ozarks, takes his family because he thinks he's going to be protecting them, and it all goes a bit pear-shaped. So that's really good. I really like Ozark. Ray Donovan is fantastic. So Ray Donovan, this was on Now TV, Ozark's Netflix. Ray Donovan is like a fixer guy, so people employ him. So it might be a politician that's done something stupid and he needs someone to fix it. Ray will come in and fix it. His dad Mickey is a bit of a bad boy. His past is all criminal based. One of the brothers is a boxer, the other one has slight issues mentally, and it's just this really fascinating tale of like his life as a fixer. Very gripping, very addictive. So yeah, definitely recommend Ray Donovan. Prison Break is old school, but I couldn't not mention it, with obviously Michael and Lincoln. I don't even know where you can watch that now. Banshee, have you seen Banshee? That's really good. This criminal, again, he rocks up and he pretends to be a sheriff, and then it's all about how he tries to like get the town in order, but he's actually an undercover criminal that's just pretending to be a sheriff. So that's really good. Breaking Bad, obviously, Game of Thrones, all of those sort of ones. I would imagine most of you have watched them. I didn't think I'd like Game of Thrones, but I did, so it's not really my thing. It's a bit mystical, and obviously it's not real, is it? Or it couldn't be real, but actually it's really good. So if you like kind of fantasy stuff, then you'd like that. Afterlife, so Afterlife 1 and 2 is Ricky Gervais's series. I mean, the accolade he's got for these, like people calling him a genius, like he is just phenomenal. This program will make you cry, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you reflect on your life. It's amazing. Basically, he's very close to his wife, adores his wife, she passes away and he contemplates suicide. So it's very thought-provoking, excellent awareness around mental illness, just a very, very good hard-hitting drama that is just fantastic. So yeah, Ricky Gervais's Afterlife. And then kind of a few sort of more like hidden ones on Netflix. A Fall from Grace. So Fall from Grace is about a kind of like middle-aged woman, and she gets conned and the guy dies, and it's all about her trial and trying to get her off from a murder charge, and it's really good. It's definitely worth watching. Also 13 Reasons Why, again that's suicide related. Quite a lot of like young teens I know have watched this, and I wasn't really sure how I felt about that, but actually it is quite important to talk about these like controversial, very you know, difficult subjects like suicide, because you know, if a child is experiencing those sort of thoughts and they don't feel they can talk to anyone about it, that's just heartbreaking. So 13 Reasons Why tries to like bring to the forefront things that could be going on in a child's head. She tells the story as if she was still alive, but she did actually sadly commit suicide. So it's a hard one to watch, but it's quite good. It is good to watch. What If? So What If is Renée Zellweger, and it's like an indecent proposal. She's like this really rich, wealthy, powerful woman, and it's just quite a fascinating watch. So I don't know if you've seen it, but that's What If. Also a little hidden gem is 7 Seconds on Netflix. So that's a police cover-up of a hit and run of a child, and it's again the injustice of it all, and this girl takes it upon herself to like figure out what happened, and that's really good. And then This Is Us. So This Is Us is probably in my top 5 because it really had an effect on me. It is beautiful. So it's an Amazon Prime one, and I think I paid to watch season 2 and 3 because I was just addicted. I can't remember what season I got up to, but it's about this family. I'm trying to remember their names. Can't remember their names. But they have triplets, and it's Mandy Moore's in it, and one of the triplets sadly passes away, and it was while I was pregnant with the twins when I was watching it, so it was a bit like, oh god, but it was so well done that I just could not watch it. And they end up adopting another baby that came in, so they still got triplets, but one is adopted, and it's this story of how they bring up this family. And I just like, there's all branches to this family, and then there's other families, and it's very hard to describe This Is Us unless you've watched it, but it's heartwarming. It's hard-hitting, it's emotional, it's beautiful. It's just, honestly, it's now kind of like up there with like the big hits in America. I don't think it's that well known in the UK, but it is just, honestly, you have to watch it. It'll make you a better person, I promise you. Watch it, check it out, it's fantastic. And then if you want something a little bit more dark, then you've got American Horror Story. So American Horror Story is basically what it says. It's like horror. So it's a bit like, you know, like it's that type of like horror, but it's twisted and it's dark. And season 1 was the best, or season 2 I think, kind of like poltergeisty type ones. Then there was like the travelling fair one with like clowns and stuff. That was horrible. So yeah, it goes a bit weird, but the first few series are quite good. Big Little Lies. So Big Little Lies is the one with Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and like some other famous actresses, and that's where it's like a group of women that all live in this like phenomenal part of California. I'm trying to remember the name now of where they live. It's on that strip, Monterey. And it's about these like different stories. So one suffers physical abuse at the hands of her partner, another one has gone through like separation and she's got children, another one has kind of like fled to the area because of a horrendous sexual abuse that she suffered. And it's like all these different stories of all these different mums that all kind of like stick together, and it's really good. It's really good. So that's Big Little Lies. And then Sons of Anarchy, again, bit of Jax, don't mind a bit of Jax. Sons of Anarchy is a motorbike gang, American. That one, it stressed me out watching it. It was that gripping. You know, Chris actually ran into the room one day and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Oh, this has just happened in Sons of Anarchy." He was like, "Oh, for God's sake, Nicola." So I got very into Sons of Anarchy. So if you haven't watched that as well, definitely recommend that. Dexter, so serial killer. Again, there's lots of serial killers, but this is more more of a, like, he's very intellectual serial killer, but he's also a forensic scientist, so he's like in with the police. His sister's a policewoman, or a detective, I can't remember what, but then he's a serial killer on the side. So yeah, it's well known. You've probably watched Dexter. Grey's Anatomy, see, I like just to watch stuff like that. I quite like hospital dramas, and I love Meredith Grey, and I just kind of like the whole ethos of the hospital. So yeah, Grey's Anatomy is another good one. It's back on at the moment as well. And if you just want something funny or light-hearted and you've recently become a mom, or you are a mom, Working Moms on Netflix is hilarious. There's another one, Frankie and Grace, on there as well. They're just easy to watch, like funny, light-hearted dramas that, particularly Working Moms, some of it you might be able to relate to as a mom. How to Get Away with Murder, I think that's Netflix as well. Annalise and her team of like students that she's teaching to be a lawyer. That all gets very messy and there's a lot of cover-ups going on. But if you're interested in the law and you find all that kind of thing quite fascinating, then that's a good one to watch. Unbelievable, so this is kind of another little hidden gem on Netflix. This is about a rape claim, and people think that it's a false claim, and it turns out it's not, and it's just really interesting. Yeah, it's just like a little hidden gem that you might want to check out. And then You is fab. So You is where Joe is, again, a bit of a killer, and he's obsessed with this girl called Beck, and he's got like an obsessive like pattern to his behaviour, so he becomes like stalkerish, obsessive about like women that he meets, and it's all wrapped up with love, but it's really interesting. Like, no one can get in his way of like being with whoever he's with, so that's excellent. Definitely recommend that. And then another one that I watched that is probably not one that you'd think of watching is Wentworth Prison on Prime, Amazon Prime. So B. Smith gets put into prison, very unlikely person to be in prison, but she turns it around and she ends up basically ruling the roost, and because she's smarter than a lot of them in there, and it's really good. It is really good. So if you haven't watched that on Amazon Prime, Wentworth Prison. And then the last one, otherwise I'm just going to go on forever, is Killing Eve. So who doesn't love Villanelle? I love Killing Eve. Killing Eve is just on BBC One. And there's some really good dramas just on just normal TV channels. So you've got Handmaid's Tale, things like that have been on just normal channels. So there are some good ones on there. You've got like Luther, you know, Line of Duty. There's all those sort of box sets as well. But I've kind of focused more on ones on like Netflix, Now, Amazon Prime, that type of thing. Because of the current situation, a lot of people are watching box sets or TV and things right now. Hence why I made this video. So there you go. I wonder how many hours I've spent watching box sets, but you know, it's just something I enjoy. And that's fine, you know, some people don't like watching box sets. I love watching box sets. I used to watch Lost, I used to watch Friends, I used to watch all those sort of things, and I just really enjoy it. I think I like just like getting lost in a programme because it helps me to switch off. So is there any that I've not mentioned that you love, that you think, oh my god, I can't believe she hasn't watched that, or she hasn't mentioned it? Then will you let me know in the comments down below? Or if there's any that I mentioned that you've not heard of that you'd like to go and check out, let me know. Or did I talk about one of your favourites in there? So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Have a lovely day. Bye.